Good morning. I feel quite and I won't forget what I did for, what I did Good morning, Nick.
3 in the morning. It's nuts. How it's been. All right. Well, close enough. Calling all stations. Clear the air lanes. Clear all air lanes for the big broadcast. Svengoolie tonight is showing what I think is an absolute piece of crap movie that I will not sit through again. And that is Don Knotts in The Ghost and Mr. Chicken. They, I don't know, fans think that's the greatest thing since sliced bread. I never thought Don Knotts was funny, even back in the Andy Griffith days. Not my cup of tea. So I'm going to miss it. Maybe you should too. But good morning. Here we go. It's me and you, Nick. If somebody shows up sooner or later, that's on them. I know a whole lot of people are telling people that nothing of value. Phooey. Hang on just a second. I have got to kill the email program because I don't want to hear those beeps. There we go. Anyway, let's get started with this. I belong to a couple of magic groups on Facebook. I practically never post. And as I said earlier, I saw a very fascinating thing on Jay Leno's syndicated show now, You Bet Your Life. Basically, it's a question show, kind of like the old Groucho Marx You Bet Your Life, but not really. The show was slightly changed. I knocked over my rings. But he had a fascinating guest on. And I say fascinating because this guy in the introduction part said he used to be a magician, but he's not anymore. Jay Leno found that really funny. And he said, well, why did you stop being a magician? And the guy flat out on cable, whatever the syndicated show is, we'll say network television, because the kids are rotten. And everybody roared. And Jay Leno, you keep them talking if they're funny. I said, well, what do you mean they were rotten? And he went through a very quick litany. They would lie. They would say the card wasn't the card they looked at. And they always were trying to bust the magic and on and on and on. And in the middle of this guy's segment, you got two people. Jay brings it up again because as a good comedian, he knows, hey, let's go back and revisit this. It's hysterical. File that over there for a minute. In the magic groups on Facebook, I can see plainly why everybody says magic sucks. I saw this twice this week, and that's just this week. Guy comes on, hey guys, I just booked a great show. I'm going to be at the yada yada, and they're really looking forward to the show. I'm looking forward to the show. What should I do? Jackie Gleason. Hamina, hamina, hamina. You booked the show. You gave them a price and they agreed to it. And now you're asking what you should do. You don't have an act. Because if you did, that's what you would do. And you seem to think this way of doing it, these guys actually go out and do shows. And they suck. And as I've already said, and this is the reality, if somebody's having a banquet or a party and they want to have music and they hire a band and the band is bad, well, they'll never use that band again. But they are going to have a band if they want to have music. But if they hire a magician and the magician is bad, they'll never have magic again. That is why Roy Kissel was so hardcore about teaching, and so am I. And as to the guy who quit, let me get this straight. The very first time, and we've discussed this, the very first time I had somebody select a card, which, by the way, you notice I don't do, and they look at it. First thing I'm going to say is show it to your friends. Sometimes people have been known to forget. Sometimes they've been known to change their mind trying to mess up my show. Naughty, naughty. So I've already addressed, don't be a jerk. Card comes back, and as you know, they're marked. I know what they've got already. He lies. I'm going to say to the friends, is that the card you saw? And if they all agree with him, wow, you've all ganged up against me. Isn't it? And I blow it. Isn't it great that these cards are marked so I know exactly what you saw? Man, are you little obnoxious jerks? Because I don't care if I ever do the show again. Years ago, had a lady hire me for what she said was a family party for her daughter's birthday. I get to the house, that's what I brought, come into the backyard. Two kids. One is a toddler. They're not coming up at all. And then I got the other kid. The rest are drunken adults, mostly male, European, and total jerks. I'm doing the rings with the birthday girl. One guy comes up and he's literally trying to take the rings away from me. And I'm trying to say, no, this isn't your time yet. I finally had to lean in and say, sir, if you don't let go of the rings, I'm gonna pop you. And then he went back and sat down. And I went, okay, how do I save this day? So I went right into gambling. I already did a trick for the birthday kid. And I went into 3-card monte and the 10-card poker deal. In fact, I told the guys, tell you what, I think it was a 3-card monte, may have been a poker deal. Let's play this for real. And whatever we did, we had actual money on it. They loved that until they realized they couldn't win. And of course, the nice thing was the review. The lady said that these drunken sots were idiots, but I still did a wonderful show. But I would never want to do that again. But I'm certainly not going to retire because of some obnoxious child. And I'm certainly not going to wait to prepare until after I've booked the show. Off of the soapbox, on to today's lesson. Nick, as you know, because it's just you were kind of intrigued with my position in Mark's magic. And I thank you for that. So I'm going to explain it. Unfortunately, you've been at magic way too long to do the first part. But here is the first part. You have to take a book and Kissel. Carol Fox said to me, Royal Road to Card Magic. And that's the book I got. It was at the very first close up convention Abbott's ever held. Harry Lorraine was the featured speaker. He's doing all these tricks and showing all these books. I leaned over, Carol, which one of these things should I buy? Carol leaned in, none of them. Go get Royal Road to Card Magic. I had always read Amateur Magician's Handbook. Here is my philosophy, and I'll put it a different way. Nick, if you wanted to learn how to play the piano and entertain with a piano, even though you had no idea how to play a piano, you're not going to go to a competent piano teacher and say, hey, teach me how to play Born Free. I picked that. It's a nice piano solo. And then the teacher's going to sit down and show you where to put your hands, and you're going to learn how to play Born Free. Then you're going to want to book a concert, and you say, they're probably going to want to hear more than Born Free. So you go back to the piano teacher. Hey, I need to learn that love theme from Romeo and Juliet. Are you following, Nick? Nobody would do that. That's insane. You don't learn at a song at a time. If you want to learn how to be a good piano player and entertain people with a piano, you're going to have to learn how to read music. You're going to have to know what those little thingies mean. And you're going to have to know how to produce them on the keyboard. If you see that symbol, that's the note. You see this, you do that. Once you can read music, and once you can play all the notes, now you start learning songs. Now, think about how 99.9% of the people learn magic. First way. Oh, I like that trick. And Burling Hull said something to me when I was young that has served me very, very well. He said, Mark, if you see a trick and it really, really, really impresses you and you want to put it in the show, then sit down and figure out how to do it. You may not need to buy that trick. You may come up with a way to do that trick. Example, I read in the Eugene Berger book about the no gimmick out of this world. He didn't tell you how to do it. He just described the effect. And I said, well, that's really cool. I'd like to do that. And I did a Burling Hull. I sat down with the deck, messed around, said, obviously, this has to be what's happening. And I started doing it. Others are now, but I was doing it 40 years ago. If you know the moves, you know how to force a card, you know how to palm a card, you know how to do a false shuffle. Just the basics. Hang on, I got a sneeze coming. All right, come on. Yeah, maybe not. It's just hanging right there. Just the basics. Now you can do any card trick you want. So we understand we've got to learn basic mechanics. Okay, here comes part 2. Here is a wonderful trick. You remember the routine. Now this is a Siberian chain. I think it is tremendous in a gospel show. What a routine. I can also do it, and did do it, as the start of Houdini Lives Again. Well, no, the rope was. This was second. I sold a lot of these in the magic shop, but they weren't as good as this. But This is what I call a single use prop. It does one trick, and there's not a lot of possible variations. They lock you up, you get out. It is not going to stretch across little guys to big guys very well. So, as wonderful as it is, if you're trying to have just enough magic to have fun and make a living, and trust me, I've got way too much. I got to get rid of it. That's not a good selection. Whereas, oh, hang on, I've been cleaning. A decent set of cup and ball cups. I'm going to be polishing these up this week. Well, you can do dozens of routines, especially if it's like this, because that's a chop cup in the middle. This one is a chop cup. You can't tell. They're identical. So I can do chop cup, I can do cups and balls, I can do the combo cup routine, I can do Gary Olette's, the twin goblets. This is a good purchase as long as you've got a table and you've got some good routines. I think the anytime, any place, anywhere cup and ball routine from Brian Watson is the video or book to get, and that's what you learn. Even if you're going to do a chop cup, the idea of the clothespin holder clipped to your belt, everything's in there, you feed from it. It's a heck of a lot cheaper than one of those busker pouches, and it's way less obvious. But again, you gotta have a table. I don't know, you're dying for me to show you the other wallet. And I gotta find that because I don't use it anymore because it's an antique. You can't get them. This is a fascinating little wallet. I use it in a routine called Heist. You talk about you were coming to the show and you were robbed. Guy came up, had a ski mask on, and he pulled the gun, and then he took all your money, and you open the wallet, and you take the money out, and you throw the money into the ski mask, and he took your watch, and you throw that in the ski mask, and he took your ring, and you throw that in the ski mask. And then you say, well, hey, he's leaving. You say, wait a minute, you're going to be frustrated. Well, I'm a magician. Really? You're a magician? Well, yeah, I'm a magician. Look inside the ski mask. And when he did, now you just turn it out, the ski mask was empty. And if you looked, my ring was back and the money was back. This is just a small Himber wallet bag. And this is Carol's finish, and the watch is back. And you pull your sleeve up about that far. And everybody's going to applaud like crazy. And you say, whoa, 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 hang on. I'm going to do it 6 more times. And you got watches all up your arm. Great trick. Very funny. Single use and purpose. Little guys are probably not going to get out of that what grown-ups do. Now, this I have never taught. This too is an antique. It cannot, there's no sense in me making a big thing out of this because you can't get one of these. You'll notice I keep the important stuff in plastic bags. Now, I don't have this made up like I should. It needs some credit cards and things so you get the idea what's going on. Now, hang on a minute because I have to do a slight get ready. And dum-dum-dum. Yeah, I thought of that. I thought about that. Okay. Now, this is, as far as I'm concerned, and once again, Carol Fox, one of the best strolling magic tricks ever. You have a card selected any way they want. I personally do this the way I've already shown you. I just overhand shuffle very slowly. Sometimes they think I'm counting the cards, but when I let the other person shuffle, it doesn't matter. And I say, just say stop anywhere. They say stop. This card, or you want me to keep going? Keep going. Okay. I didn't spray any lotion on my hand today. I really should have. And so you get to here, this card, keep going. This card, you take it off, you hand it to them, tell them to look at it. Tell you what, I call this an autograph deck. You turn it up, and there's signatures all over the various cards. I'd like to collect your autograph. And you give them a Sharpie, and they write their name. And that's why we use jumbo index. There's all sorts of white here in the middle for them to sign their name. They do that. I'm shuffling more. Just say stop. They say stop. Put your card back. And as I've said before, all I'm going to do is is when I start shuffling, and they can't see, you can't. But I've bent my baby finger in, and I'm shuffling. And as I've said before, if there is no table, and there will be, or you can't do the part 2 of this trick, you have to double undercut. If there's a table, I do a triple cut to the table, which means I take above the break, I take half the cards, cut to the break, put this down, and their card is now on top of the deck. Then what I say is, now right now I just did it. I'm going to let you see it. I take the edge of my thumb and I push. And you see how that buckles up? But if I'm like this, I'm looking right at the index. I'm trying to get this so you can see it. Yeah. Trust me, it's there. You can see it. And then I say, oh, wait a second. Give me the box. You shuffle these. That way, everybody knows there's no problem. And then they give you the cards back. And then you do the joker bit. Hang on. I thought when you were shuffling, I thought I saw the jokers. And all you're really doing is you're looking for their ace. You cut it to the top, take the joker out, put it in the box, and you say, okay. Notice nothing in my hand. And you bring out this wallet. And you say, now, as unbelievable as it is, see, we're at that problem again. I'm trying to watch the camera to make sure I'm in frame, but then I'm not looking at my hands and I drop stuff. Okay? So I open up the wallet and I say, wouldn't it be an amazing coinky dink if when I open this zipper and I reach into, come here, you. Oh, wait a second, there it is. It slipped out. But you open the zipper and there's their card. You close the zipper. Now and there's no palming or any of that stuff, Nick. But They've got the deck. If you don't have a table, you can do it this way. Okay? They've got the deck. You say, okay. One of the things you're not supposed to do as a magician is to repeat a trick because people know what's coming. So you say, fan out the cards, and you put your card in the deck, and you say, shuffle it up, mix it up. Okay? Now, nothing in my hands. Card is buried in the deck. If I can get it out of the deck and back in this wallet, that would be one heck of a trick, wouldn't it? And of course, it's their signed card. This is called a Bendix bombshell. That is not the routine that comes with a Bendix bombshell. But the point is, I can do that routine strolling or on stage or anywhere, families, whoever. This is a multiple use item. What did I do? Well, first, this is also a number one. I take any indifferent card, and what I do, Nick, is I put it in the first slot and I move it all the way over. Because then when I do it on the other side, it's going to look identical. And then I close it. And this goes in my pocket this way. So when I come out, it's going to do that. And also, because it's got that Z fold in it, it's oh yeah, when I open this up. When you open this up, now you've got a slot. And the zipper goes to that slot. So all you do is you get, in this case, the ace of diamonds. To the top of the deck. I do no palming. I say, your card is in the wallet. Look. Now, see, when I do that, you can see the wallet is empty. While that happens, I can either push the card over here and give somebody the deck, or I can do it with the deck in my hands. But all you're going to do is take this card on the back side. I'm sorry, there. You put a little pressure here, and that sucker's going to go right in. When it says not here, no, wait a minute. Now you unzip, no, this way. You unzip the zipper, you reach in. This is brand new. I found one and I bought it immediately. But I got to do this trick about 60 times because the wallet is so stiff. Okay, well, that's strange. Duh. It can also go out the bottom, so you want to watch for that. But you're going to come in and take the card out, and there it is. Once you've done that, they've seen that. Ta-da! Raise your arms. This card goes in that first slot flap, and it's right up against the stitching. Why? Now watch. Don't do that. When you open it up again, it's going to look weird. Do that. Because when I open it up, you think that's the ace. And that card gets buried in the deck. And again, the thick part, flop it over. They shuffle, they go crazy. You can tell somebody to hold it. And that is an outstanding example of multiple progressions through the day, through your act. Could I do that in a kid's show? Yeah, but I'd rather just do the insurance policy. And that's why I wouldn't tell you to go nuts trying to find one of those. It's going to be at least $100. But as I said, these are out of stock. They don't make them anymore. Occasionally one will turn up. As you know, I have, if this is off here, let me do this. I have one of these from TCC in my case, and I have one of these. This is the stand-up material. This is the close-up / strolling material. In this case from TCC, the upper part has a zipper and this little place that holds things. On this side, I have 2 wallets. This is an absolute original Tom Mullica wallet. And the only thing I haven't done with this yet, I got to put a new business card in there. You want the words magic. This is why you do a wallet trick. You want to say magic right across the top and your name. It's much better if your wallet has an ID part, because then you put that fake card in there that says magic, Nick, whatever. And then if they, oh, yeah, because they'll say, oh, yeah, give me one of your cards. And you say, okay, let me give you one of the new ones. That one's been in there for way too long. And you give them one of your new cards. But this is the original no palming, because there's 2 wallets. And again, you have just basically brought this over and opened it up, stole the top card, you take out the inner wallet, and you transfer the card. So now the card is under this wallet. When you open it up, there's a huge whopping slit, and you take the card out. But that means that's the only card trick I can do with this wallet. Card is selected, it ends up in the wallet, but it's going to have to be done that way. You remember, I've got a bazillion wallets. This is pretty darn clever. It eliminated the second wallet, but it works the same way. Plus, it's a Patrick Page stage wallet. It's a little tiny. But see, if I come here, and again, I've come here, I open the wallet, I steal the card over, so the card is in my right hand, and I push it right through that camouflage slit, and it's going to be in the zipper. But on this side, with the outside thingy, that's the camouflage from Davenport's in England, where you're hiding that slit, and this just goes in your pocket, and you palm and load the card. Then once I've done that part, then I said, look, I'll tell you what, I'll repeat it. And that time you do the no palm, and you load it this way. So this is the one I use. I did put the Mullica in there just for talking today. Any questions so far? That means it's time for you to say something, Nick. I can see you're still there. Are you there, Nick? Wow, that hurt. That was dumb. Nick, I'm concerned. Well, I'm just going to run through this then, and we're going to call it a night. Probably the best example of a trick that instantly resets, can be done across every single audience, from little kids all the way up to senior citizens, is my version of the Slidini silks. I've taught this before. I have 2 sets of 24-inch silks, because this one has to go in a different case, and this one is in this case. And don't need to explain that part. As I've said before, I saw Carol do it. He was killing with it. I was going to put it in the show. I saw Bill Malone do it on his L&L tape. And on the loose. And he says on the tape that you have to carry a big pair of scissors, because sometimes they'll tie them and you can't get them apart. So then you just cut them in half. I went, wait a minute. These darn things are like $30 now. I'm not cutting them in half. So I analyzed the routine and I said, well, it's real easy. I can fix that so it never happens. So we're like this, because I tied both handkerchiefs together. And this is just a really fast review. You take both handkerchiefs, you tie the classic fake knot, where really you just twist one around the other one. And man, that looks tight. And they hang together. And you give them to the kid to hold on to. And of course, they're going to fall apart. Everybody's going to tell you they fall apart. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, don't untie them or I can't do the trick. And so they're like, ooh. So now I tie a square knot. And I don't go nuts, as it looks like I'm pulling it. Oh, okay, Nick. Took you long enough to answer. What were you doing? Making a deposit? But I do that pull, and now it's going to slide right off of there. So I grab the knot, say, hold that, kid. And then I go back, and now they're again. They go, no, look, no. See, don't do that. I can't do the trick. Now I tie another square knot, but as I'm doing that, I'm looking in the audience for a big, tough guy. And I say, okay, take those over to him. So the big guy's got it. Okay, pull like this. Grab the other sides. Pull like that. Pull this. Pull that. Really go. Then you tell him, can you untie that knot? And it's so small and tiny. Oh, good heavens, no. So you have the girl bring it back. As you're moving the girl in position, I'm looking for the red thread, and I just found it. So I got to grab here, and I got to grab here. And when I do, it doesn't matter how tight he pulled them. It looks like I'm just making it tight. No, I've popped the knot again. Girl gets it. Oh, look here. You look at the girl. Look at the audience. Look at the big guy. You had one job. People go crazy. You say, fine, just pick one. They do. You say, okay, do you promise not to let go of the ends? And of course, they're going to say yes. And you say, well, because see, it's topological. It's a mathematical thing. If you hold this end, hold there, and you hold that end, there's no way for the knot to come undone as long as you're holding the ends. And of course it does. Now the kids are screaming. You're, oh, why did I get up this morning? What are you, Houdini? I'm working this side of the street. And it doesn't matter if it's 5 or 500. They're all going to laugh at those lines. Finally, you tie it around the arm, do all the gags, right through the wrist. Everybody's going crazy. You untie the knots on this one as they're going back to the seats. Put these two together. Tie them both together at the top. And you are instantly reset to do it again next show. Any questions about what I taught today? Oh, why do I carry 9 rings? Because if I can't talk, if the audience doesn't speak English, I get a key and 2 singles, and I turn on some music, and I do a silent 3-ring routine. If it's little kids, a key, a single, and 2 linked, and I do the 4-ring routine. Big audience, I'll do the 8-ring routine with 9 rings. I see that's the point. I can do any kind of routine I want, depending upon the conditions or whatever. And at the end, I just, put them back in this case. Game, set, match. Any questions? Oh, this is from Bolker. Found this today. This was actually going to be a part of that close-up show I designed but never sold, and actually stupidly bought all the props until I got the show. See, unlike the guys on Facebook, I actually prepared the show, then tried to sell it. But this is a Don Allen gag that almost got him in prison. Because in those days, a switchblade, because of the anti-gang laws, was against federal law. And he had one. So is this. Now, this is really nicely made. It's not very long, and that's good. You don't want it to be long. But see how dark it is? See that red dot? That means danger, Will Robinson. If you've got that red dot visible, and you hold this up, it's a switchblade. And now I can do the card in the apple or the card stab, or personally my favorite, which I learned years ago from the Amateur Magician's Handbook. You have 2 cards selected, return to the deck thoroughly shuffled, the deck is wrapped in a paper napkin, and somebody holds the cards this way. You come out and do the Detroit credit card gag, and you spear the cards. You hold the top like this, say let go, you turn it, and you cut. You leave the card there. Tear off the paper, you leave the knife there. Then you turn it, and that knife has gone in, and there are the 2 selected cards together and found by the knife. But again, first off, you don't want to do this in front of children, so it's a single-use effect. I don't have the room for those things anymore. Any questions? Because I'm going to wrap it up, Nick. Man, the lag is just incredibly bad today. If, and it depends, I have a trick I'm practicing called echo. Now it comes like this. You have an English penny, you have a blue Chinese coin, you have a black Chinese coin, and you have a 50-cent piece. And yeah, if I was doing strolling or up close, and remember, I got to, almost forgot, Nick, got to show you something. Well, that was great. The bag was open, and I've just thrown these all over the bloody floor. Here it is. My idea for strolling now is no tables, no hands. You may remember this joke. It has to be done like Jimmy Swaggart. You just sit there and watch. If you don't remember, tell me and I'll explain the joke. But I thought, you know what? This would be a heck of a thing on stage. So I made it up with a blue Chinese coin and a red Chinese coin and a jumbo penny and an Eisenhower dollar. Now you can see this. And what happens is you put these coins in the spectator's hands. And you take this glass and put it in your pants. And then you, one at a time in their hands, you say, or you put it in the pocket. You say, open your hands. And instead of 4 coins, they only have, before you do say open your hand, you got it tight, can't get in there. And then you hear clink. Something has fallen. You hear it go into the glass. They open their hand, there's only 3 coins. You push them back together, say close your hand. Clink. They open their hand, there's only 2 coins. And it's happening in their hands. Why did I stop? Drink and a barbecued rib. No touching. But they arrived. Did you see the TCC video for their lovely rings? Because what a routine. But now, if you're familiar with the ninja rings, some of the moves are the same. Just melts through there, doesn't it? With the bag, I got him in black. And the routine, $15, Nick, plus shipping. This is going right into the strolling act. This, mental photography, color changing knives, the insurance policy, anything that does not require a table and they don't have to touch nothing, that's the new act. And as I said, I can also do it for kids. I don't give a darn that little Billy has a magic kit and it's got a set of these rings in it. He can't do all that hard stuff. All right, buddy. That's it. Take care. Turn blue. Scratch glass. Don't get caught. And I'll talk to you soon.